Countless security guards, servants, bunkers, briefcases, and motorcades. Endless meetings, visits, sessions, filming, and addresses. There are so many of them, and they happen so often. But the years and physical condition are no longer the same. The secrets of youth and longevity have yet to be discovered, which means a whole army of doubles is needed. Many different Putins.
Let me see. Sentimental and profoundly emotional.
To cynical and decisive. From a chatterbox to a silent type. But the main thing is maximum training and discipline, so that every movement and every rasp in his voice is copied to perfection. This is a terrifying military secret. But in the Kremlin, they whisper that Putin has long not been the one shown on TV.
Well, they say...
They were trained for this role for years. And the chatterbox, the Udmurt, the banquet one, the bruised one, and the diplomat handle it quite well. But
why does the president have different heights in different years, and why does he show up at receptions at different times? They are actually very similar people, but if you look quite closely, they are different.
Some go out to the public in a more casual way, others attend summits and meet with world leaders. Still others simply cover their tracks.
Well, of course, he never actually sat in any bunkers. Not even once, really.
Is the real Putin being preserved like a relic, or has he been dead for a long time already?
Vladimir Putin is dead. He
is dead, absolutely for sure. Right now, he is in the cold storage chamber of his residence in Valdai. That's
how it happens. Could it really be that Putin's doubles have breakfast and lunch together somewhere?
I see that you can look like me and speak with my voice. But I thought about it and decided that only one person should look like me and speak with my voice. And that person will be me.
They get Botox injections together, then, according to schedule, go out in public and earn their fees.
Do they,
keep them really locked up so they don't actually show up anywhere if one of them is out among people.
Have they already let you out of the madhouse?
Putin's doubles. Who are they? How do they live? What are they afraid of, and how much do they earn? And what about their relatives who might recognize them? And most importantly, who is pulling the strings of these puppets? For many years now, the role of dictator Vladimir Putin has been played by several people at once. These are the very same doubles that journalists whisper about, and politicians talk about it in the corridors. Ordinary people argue about it on forums, and even those close to the bunker man gossip about it in the Kremlin smoking rooms.
So are we walking? Yes.
For now, yes. Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Thank you.
There are countless theories, but where there's smoke, there's fire. But there are also facts. They've messed with our heads.
Over there, those particular people right over there, doubles.
Putin's doubles really do exist. These people live between makeup rooms and important events. I
was just thinking, there's actually a place like that really near Moscow. And they all come down together for breakfast there. They
are invited to places where either Putin is afraid to be, or where the real one isn't really needed. The bunker one uses his double so often and with such frequency that his loyal and trusted henchmen simply begin to forget who the real, genuine Putin actually is, and even how to address him properly in person.
Instead of, for example, as an alternative.
For almost 2 decades now, it's been doubles shown on TV instead of Putin. Physiognomy experts claim that, instead of the real Putin, someone else is appearing more and more often at public events. He looks similar, rehearsed with the same squint and a slightly slowed gait. Have you ever wondered if it's not Putin, but his stand-in from Belarus who congratulates you on New Year's?
Those of you, dear friends, who happened to see or watch the so-called New Year's address delivered by the so-called President of the Russian Federation probably noticed that it was in fact very short. It wasn't just very short, it was actually one of the shortest speeches in the entire history of New Year's addresses ever given on behalf of President Putin, since he first began making them. I want to draw your attention to the fact that I'm not saying President Putin, but on behalf of President Putin. Why was it one of the shortest? The answer is obvious. So that people wouldn't look too closely or listen too carefully. So they wouldn't scrutinize the appearance or listen to the voice of the person. This Putin double's name is Yevgeny Vasilyevich. He is originally from Belarus. Yevgeny Vasilyevich. Yes, a fourth-class carpenter. That's the honest truth.
The tasks given to the copies of the nasty little Putin are quite simple. They don't sign important documents, they just congratulate accountants or military widows on March 8th. Or they hug an old lady for the camera.
No one will notice the grandma.
Now that's truly something you can't replace.
Well, obviously. Why would the frightened old man in the Kremlin crawl out of his bunker just to show the peasants a manager who visited a factory with ordinary workers? So it's one of two things. Either Putin has the superpower to be in two different places at once, or while the real Putin is busy with a conversation or taking a bath in the blood of young deer, his double is laying flowers at memorials and mingling with the public. His double, the suit, the tie, the hoarse voice, the recognizable pause before every word. Some of them have gotten so into character that they've lost their own sense of self, and have stopped existing as ordinary people. Every Putin lives with the awareness that if they do something wrong, things could end badly for them.
That really struck a chord with me.
Any excessive imitation can attract attention. That's why the FSO agents carefully control the image of the bunker villain. Sometimes the Putins resemble him even more than the original himself.
Rarely, but I do sometimes meet up with my classmates from school and university, occasionally just to catch up. And they often look at me and say, I don't believe it. Is it really you or not? With
Putin's doubles, you can take a photo and have a conversation. Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Just one more photo with Sasha.
There's no room for mistakes, but they do happen. For example, a watch for Putin or one of his doubles is not just an accessory. It's always worn on the right wrist. And if this detail is missed, the situation looks ridiculous.
my colleagues would like to raise a wide and diverse range of important questions. The Minister of Defense has just returned from an official foreign business trip. He will soon talk in detail about the results and outcomes of this trip. Both will report.
Conversation, hand movements, gait, and even coughing. Every movement of Putin's puppets must pass internal censorship.
Our countries, ladies and gentlemen, this is a truly historic note for the record to end on.
So which one of them did the Russians actually elect as president? It's impossible to say for sure. But all that's left of the one who came to power in 2000 is a perfectly rehearsed illusion. Reliable information about the use of body double technologies for the Russian dictator has been confirmed by many sources. Not only in Ukraine.
We see in the picture quite clearly the very same Vladimir Putin who in February of the year 2022 officially announced the need to enter Ukraine. That was the original Putin, the one who in fact came to power after Boris Yeltsin, the former president of Russia. This is his own frontal photograph, taken at the very same meeting of the Russian National Security and Defense Council, which was a pivotal event.
In 2023, the media reported that it was not Putin himself who arrived at the CSTO summit in Minsk, but his double. At that time, observers noted inconsistencies in his facial expressions and manner of speech, and conspiracy theorists compiled entire dossiers comparing ear length and cheekbone shape. Putin was without his special briefcase and did not keep his usual distance. If lyricism is needed, the poetic Putin comes into play. mentality, the soulful Putin appears.
And
Here, went to Trump. The Kremlin and the security services would never have let an illegitimate one go to Alaska. After all, there's always the risk that the real Putin could end up behind bars. That makes Trump's applause, the red carpet, and the US Army soldiers kneeling before a dummy all the more awkward and shameful. Sometimes not even dozens of Botox injections, facelifts, and makeup can help the Kremlin hide the truth. These days, it no longer matters who exactly is standing at the podium, bowing to the Chinese delegation, or congratulating factory workers on Metallurgist Day. The only thing that matters is that he looks like Putin, talks like Putin, and remembers to pause at the right moment.
The defense industry, which we have always been proud of, and we were proud of it for good reason. I hope that such difficult times have passed at your enterprise as well. You can probably see that for yourselves.
The difference can be seen in the little things. The angle of a smile, an unnaturally straight posture, a step that's just a bit too energetic. But it's precisely these little things that make up the whole picture.
We can't tolerate this any longer. What an outrage.
The Kremlin, of course, does not respond to such unpleasant conversations and does not refute the rumors. But the lack of comments is often more telling than any evidence. For example, in the city of Minsk, there was the main Putin double, a person whom people have nicknamed Vasilich. This particular fake Putin always acts far too lively and energetic, which actually ends up exposing the other, more boring and less animated Putins. A report by the major Japanese TV network TBS states that at least 2 Putin doubles have been spotted at different events. And
then the states, the guests, have an informal breakfast scheduled to take place, all without president.
it is specifically the spokesperson Dmitry Peskov who helps Putin smooth things over when one of the fakes embarrasses himself.
There are absolutely no doubles at all as far as work and so on are concerned in any way. You know, this definitely falls into the category of what we would call absurd information hoaxes, as you might expect.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, hello? I am a student and I study at St. Petersburg State University. I want to ask, is it true that you have many doubles?
A double is almost always used in front of thousands of people, like at a concert or a parade. You might ask, how is that possible? After all, people could spot a fake on the big screens. Putin reacted nervously. They say he even reached for his briefcase off camera. That's why the double also appears at the helicopter factory in Siberia in March, where by Putin's security standards there was an unusually large crowd.
Is this shortage preventing you from fulfilling state defense orders?
Yes, it is.
At the same time, to maintain the cover story before the visit, the workers at the aircraft factory were searched, deprived of lunch and locked in the buildings.
Horus, there they are, President Denisov. There's the car with the flashing lights. There's the Horus car.
The double who personally inspected the Crimean Bridge with a gap of just over half a year between the two events matches Putin on Red Square by only 53% overall.
The ideology of superiority is, by its very nature, truly repulsive, criminal, and deadly in all its manifestations. At
the concert in support of the military and during the visit to Mariupol, the same double was used.
There is intense and ongoing fighting taking place right now at our historic and significant frontiers for the sake of our people. This battle is being bravely fought by the very same courageous soldiers who are standing here with us at this moment.
It was then that Putin finally heard the truth that the occupiers are desperately trying to hide after capturing and completely destroying the Ukrainian city. Here.
I have the second floor, they have the first floor.
Do you like it?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
And by the way, my birthday is 15 days after yours. I'll be 72.
But I was left with nothing. Now I have everything. They gave me an apartment.
But between Putin on the Crimean Bridge and Putin in Mariupol, there is only an 18% facial recognition match. In 2025, it was again not the original who visited the Kursk region. Too dangerous for a coward. Moreover, the visit was prepared in a hurry. That's why the double has a strange, extremely high-pitched voice. We
must treat all people, and should continue to treat in the future, everyone who ends up in our hands, humanely.
The news channel's Goebbels TV got seriously scared. After all, the unedited video ended up online. No one would believe that suddenly, on all cameras at once, the audio tracks malfunctioned, and that's why his voice sounded so squeaky. They worried for nothing. Russians will believe in things even more unbelievable than that. It's actually very easy to recognize the fake Führer by his voice. For example, the timbre of Putin's voice at the Eurasian Economic Forum in May was different from his 3 other speeches within a short period of time.
The pipeline goes through Ukraine. Actually, Ukraine shut down one of the major pipelines.
There were differences everywhere in the stress and pronunciation of certain letters. Sometimes it even seems as if audio track problems are being created on purpose. The state structure of business law, experts, and industry specialists who have gathered here.
I would like to emphasize that the regular holding of such business forums, as well as the systematic work of the BRICS Business Council, which brings together leading entrepreneurs and heads of the largest companies from the 5 countries, truly plays a very significant practical role in the continuation.
You probably read various Telegram channels and so on about how many doubles President Putin has, right? Yes, right now experts are debating whether there are 3 or 4 of them. And now, the one we see every day, like this morning when they laid flowers at Minin and Pozarsky, is that the 3rd or the 4th double? It's unclear, right? But we only really have one Putin.
Ukraine's chief intelligence officer, Kirilo Budanov, also contributed to exposing Putin's doubles. He openly stated that he constantly sees doubles of the president of Eritrea on television.
They didn't quite get it right there, as some important details were missed. Every one of his trips is carefully planned and follows a set of specific protocols, which are always strictly followed and never broken, regardless of the situation. A specific plane is supposed to accompany him. This time they simply forgot it. For me, there are definitely 3 doubles. I always see them. How many are there in total? We need to look up the information.
Since the year 2022, the main task of Putin's double has consistently been to take the bullet meant for the original.
Peskov has already let it slip. He already said that during the drone attack on the Kremlin, not a single Putin was harmed.
the real Putin. If he is even still alive and not recently lying in a morgue freezer, he is in a panic, terrified of assassination attempts. He understands that he has long since earned a meeting with the forces of evil.
Your evil deeds have exceeded limits of human patience on earth and God's patience in heaven.
And so Putin's life has turned into hell. Despite having enormous resources, influence, and wealth, he cannot make use of them. A deep bunker. Dozens of doctors, shamans, and kabeva once a month. That's all he has left now. And also, there is the inevitable, ever-present anticipation of death, which is in many ways even more torturous and far worse than death itself.
Father, please, if you would allow me, I just want...
To remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated manner in order to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. We do not aim to mislead anyone, but simply wish to emphasize humor and lightheartedness. Please take this with a smile and an open mind.